Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Rich. Welcome to the video. This is going to be really, really fun. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to look at the transition of Greg Capullo, not only in artistic styles, but him taking over Spawn. This was really interesting. So my memory of Greg coming on to Spawn, and we're just going to get right into this, so we'll immediately start looking at the art. I thought that he did 2 issues, and if I was going to guess, I would have said it was like issues 15 and 16, so I wasn't too far off. He starts on issue 16, I believe. But he actually did 5 books in a row. I didn't realize that. But the first arc is 3 issues, and I read it all this morning, and it was fun. It's was a challenging spot that he was in, coming onto one of the more iconic Image books with a pretty unique artist, with a very identifiable and very popular style. Whether you like Todd or not, it's hard to deny that his style was not quite popular with a lot of people. Yeah, it's interesting. So Greg, over a period of time, really became almost like an ultimate version of Todd. But what we're going to see today is sort of like his I don't know if I wouldn't really call him humble beginnings, because he does some pretty kick-ass stuff, but there's some stuff that is not as cool looking as Todd would maybe do. So anyway, let's get right into this. So cover is by Capullo. Looks like it was inked by Greg. It's 1993, and it's colored by Steve Oliff and Ollie Optics, and they did a really nice job. It's a cool piece. It doesn't really feel like this version of Spawn to me, that they kind of refer to him in the book as Hell Spawn, but it you're not going to be confused of who it is. But I think the detail on the face doesn't really look as gnarly as like what Todd did. So all right, let's get into this. I'm going to move a little bit quickly through some of the pages, only because we're going to look at all 3 books. So pencils, Greg Capullo. Story, Grant Morrison. Ink, Stan Panosian, Art T. Bear. We've got letters by Tom Orzechowski, and colors by Steve Oliff and Ollie Optics. So it is dedicated to Max Gaines. I actually pulled up Max Gaines for people that are curious. Max Gaines was an American publisher. He was a pioneer in the creation of modern comic book and the color seps. So Gaines devised the first 4-color saddle stitch newsprint pamphlet, a precursor to the color comic formats that became the standard for American comic book industry. So props to Todd for giving props to Max Gaines. I thought that was really, really cool. And back in 1993, you weren't going to be able to look that up on the internet. So that would, for a lot of people, might have been just a name in the book. Not anymore, friends. All right, so what we have here is 2 soldiers wandering through what looks to be like some sort of industrial town, but there's things that are amiss. What is all this random stuff? There's a city, there's silos, there's a home, there's a church. What is all this? Well, underneath this is a gateway to hell, friends. This is Al Simmons' memories scattered about I think it was Death Valley, something like that. These 2 soldiers are basically part of a test. So they've sent him into what the evil politicians and military guys are jokingly referred to as Simmonsville. We've got Major Vale and another dude. I think his name is Wynn. They basically there's a let's continue. We can get into this. So anyway, these guys were not expecting this. They're really being thrown in the middle of it. But anyway, it's basically Al Simmons' hell on earth. It's his memories jumbled into basically a cap over a portal to hell, give or take some information. And these things are busting through the asphalt, obviously. So I think what is the stuff called? So this is in Nevada. They have a name for it, something plasm. Oh, psychoplasm. So I don't know if I want to really get into the whole psychoplasm like sort of history here. Anyway, needless to say, these 2 soldiers are killed by these things. Oh, by the way, there's spoilers in this, so if you haven't read it, you may want to dip out, read it, and then come back, and you can hear my Reader's Digest version of the book. But anyway, so these guys get killed. Is the red shirted Star Trek people will get killed. Actually, I did a review of this one already this morning, but I did a second one because I decided to do all the books. So this is an interesting page for a couple of reasons. One, you can kind of see the remnants of the Jim Lee style in Capullo stuff. Doesn't really look very McFarlane-y, and this in particular looks very Jim Lee. But these Violator type characters really are looking cool. You know, this is a great sequence. So this monster like grabs this guy, he's like dragging him up to the house, up the stairs. It's really great. But this next page is just classic. I thought it was so funny. It felt like something right out of like Evil Dead. So the door shuts, slams shut. These guys are watching on the monitor, and then blood just explodes through the chimney. I thought that was hysterical. Like, it really was funny and very like nice little animated sequence. And then these are the two guys. So this guy ultimately ends up being anti-Spawn. He leaves this meeting. I want to say he's like a presidential something or other. Can't remember his exact moniker, but anyway, but this guy goes to train after this, and he's gonna get sucked up by the angels, and anti-Spawn will be created. So this is like kind of the first sort of big splashy image of Spawn that Greg did. I thought it's a nice piece. It's a really nice drawing. I'm a little like the composition and placement on the page feels a little weird to me. He's very far to the left. I mean, definitely it's a little unusual, the placement of his head there, but overall it's a nicely designed page. I think the cape looks really good. The colors are nice. This all flows really well, actually, and this Spawn head is framed very nicely. So it is actually a nice page. Just not 100% sure about this. The placement of it feels it's a little unusual. You're getting flying close to the edge there. All right, so got another splash page. This is Chapel, or as I like to call him, Chappelle, and kidding. All right, what is this? It's Melboja. We got Wanda, and then Al. So Al, he's lost his memory, and he's realizing that if he's alive or in this body, who was buried in his grave. So he's trying to unwrap like what's going on in his life, what's left of it. So he's going to actually go to his grave and find out if there's a body in it. Is it his body? He needs to know. He needs answers. He needs to start having memories, because right now he has no memories. He's a blank slate. Now, remember, we're on issue 15, so he's got a relationship with the homeless now in the alley, and you'll see in a later issue, like, he's actually, like, knows them by name, a lot of them. Anyway, he's flying in. These two guys are about to burn this homeless person alive. This is not someone that Spawn knows. We'll find that out later, too. But anyway, these two guys are threatening him. They've got a gas can and a lighter. It's a pretty horrendous crime they're about to commit. I'm not 100% sure you could get away with something like this in a comic book now, but who knows. There was a few things in here that I wondered if you were doing a crowdfunded book and someone complained if it would get pulled. To be honest, there's another scene where someone gets shot in the head, and I was like, if that would fly. All right, so anyway, Spawn comes in. He, approaches these guys. You've got the guy with the bandana and the baseball hat, and this other dude. And Spawn's about to beat him up. He smashes the gun, smashes the guy's hand. This is pretty cool. Takes the one guy and like punches him and flips him over. But it's interesting. He hits him so hard he knocks his hat off. Greg never shows it though, so it's a little confusing. But if you look here, you can see the clip, or whatever you call this thing, like the clips. I don't know. I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, but here it's not there. So it's a little tiny bit confusing. His nose ring sort of helps fill in the gaps. But yeah, I thought it was actually a drawing mistake at first. But I'm assuming during this moment his hat comes off. I think it would have been helpful to show it. But I don't know. This drawing of Spawn is really cool. And this is nice. And again, we've got two inkers on the book. We've got Dan Panosian and art. So not 100%. I suspect certain pages were done by someone, but I'm not going to guess because I it would be hard to really know. But anyway, so he apologizes to this homeless guy for his actions, which is interesting. But you know, anyway, and then he tells this guy he's off to go dig up an old friend, which is himself. And these two are going to run into each other again in another issue or so. All right, so these are the angels that are on Earth, or like kind of representatives of them. And she works with, I think, like Angela, and then these other angels that are going to create the anti-spawn. But anyway, they're basically trying to deal with Hellspawn and the rift that's been opened. So they're having troubles at the moment. And this is kind of interesting. This is one of the very, very few times that we go into space and Spawn. I didn't remember that, but I thought that this was interesting. But anyway, we've got these guys up here. They're going to basically take a human target who in real life is actually an enemy of Al. Was like an associate of Al Simmons, but they weren't on really good terms. It's kind of military sort of thing. Wanda talks about it later, but yeah. So these guys have selected a subject who is this guy Wynn, who again is not a good guy. He's like a military politician. Like he's running with that group. I can't think of his exact thing, like I said before. Anyway, to establish that he's a badass, he goes and trains with these ninjas and totally kicks their asses and basically says that they're overpaid losers, essentially. And as he's leaving the sort of training room, he gets sucked out in a Star Trek type thing. It's a little confusing because it looks like someone in a tube in the room, which is the light kind of encasing him. But it was when I first read it, when I was reading the comic, I was a little confused of what was going on exactly. But it's just a light sucking him up. He's not actually in like some sort of a container all of a sudden. And then now he is with them. They basically put this inner fire in his body. Now we've got Hellspawn, Spawn, Al Simmons going to his grave. He digs it up, pulls the coffin out. Go, Al, go. What's going to be inside of your grave? Is it you? Is it someone else? Is it empty? It's you. It's him. No. The smell, like some sick ancient thing breathing in my face, filthy and rotten. It's me, dear God. Why? All right, so anyway, powerful moment. And bam, we cut back to Mr. Anti-Spawn. So you could see he's transforming from human to his new thing. So we've got, the transition happening. They're sort of admiring their handiwork. And then, boom, final page is this. The reveal of his final incarnation as the Anti-Spawn. Pretty cool character, to be honest. The crosses, I'm not 100% sure. Oh, I get it. I guess heaven and hell and all that kind of stuff. So makes sense, actually, now that I think of it. Okay, so let's get into the next book. We'll shut these. Had to rush a little bit. We got a lot of content to look at today. Open and... All right, let's do this. Oh, wait, did I grab the wrong one? Or is this 17? Yeah, wait. Yeah, this is the right one. All right, so this is the cover. So issue 17. Again, Greg Capullo cover. We've got Spawn in the sewer. Not really part of the story, to be honest. It's kind of interesting that I'm trying. I guess the first cover was just Spawn. This one, he's like in the sewer. But yeah, I don't think this doesn't really tie in with the story much. Nice piece. It's cool. Capullo inks. All right, this one is dedicated to Ross Andrew. I'll show you here. So I pulled up a little thing on him. So this is inked by Mark Pennington. Different inker on this one. Still Grant Morrison. Everything else is the same. Dedicated to Ross Andrew. I pulled up the Ross Andrew wiki. So for people that want to know a little bit about Ross, Ross died on November 9th, 1993. So he had passed away around the time that this book was made. So Ross Andrew was an American comic artist and editor whose career in comics spans 6 decades. He is best known for his work on Amazing Spider-Man, could very well be the connection that Todd had with him, Wonder Woman, The Flash, and The Metal Men, and for having co-created the character called The Punisher. So rest in peace, Ross Andrew. And then let's get into this. All right. Really, really nice. I think Pennington's inks look fantastic on Greg. Still probably tighter and a little bit neater than the Todd father would do, but this is looking good. Very, very cool. Great layout for the page. I actually really like the lettering. I think it's all looking good. I'm assuming this is a font now at this point, not hand lettered, maybe, but I kind of doubt it. And it looks nice. It's a good font. So. All right, so Al goes to his memory town, we'll call it, with the psychoplasm has built, and he kind of starts to talk about the different stuff that's there. It's the church that he and Wanda got married in. You know, you've got his home, the house that he grew up in, the city, you know, some other things, and a memory is placed in this village or town that we'll call whatever you want to call it, the psychoplasm gate, and it's him proposing to Wanda on a lake in a little boat, and this is gonna tie into the story at the end. It's actually it's a pretty good story, to be honest. I felt like it ended really, really well. It's like kind of tugs at your heartstrings a little bit. So anyway, Melboja is talking to him, and he's saying that like you'll be mine soon enough, and you know, there's two things that I think that the ticking clock, but you'll notice that it doesn't really appear in these stories. So Todd, I don't know if he abandoned that idea at some point, and maybe sometimes returns to it, but yeah, the clicking or ticking hourglass kind of vanished. But you go, it could be Spawn's powers because he has limited powers and he kind of gasses out, or it could be like when Melboja will fully control him. I'm not sure. I don't know. All right. Some hardcore Spawn fans might know. All right, so we cut to the ship above Earth, flat Earth. I always say that now. All right, yeah, so the soldier's ready. Our anti-spawn has been prepared for his first battle. Then key him to the Hellspawn's aura profile, initiate transmission, and pray for a swift kill. Oh, and they fire him off, shooting him to Earth. Go, anti-spawn, go. All right, so now. Where are you, you bastard? You took my life. He's yelling at Melboja right now, and I don't know if that's like he's falling into hell or what's going on. Anyway, anti-spawn shows up, so now we've got a problem, or Spawn has got a problem. We'll say. I don't know. Did I shut that one? Oops, sorry. Hold on. Don't look there. Okay. So anyway, something bad. All right. So here we go. He calls him out. Hellspawn, I've come for you. Really, really nice shot. Very dynamic. It's exciting. It's everything you want in an Image comic splash page. If you like these kind of just big sort of money shot hero kind of thing. His belt is pretty funny. It's got the no spawn thing because he's anti-spawn. All right, and then this is this. So the news is reporting on the disappearance of Jason Wynn. Jason is the guy that's anti-spawn now, and he's a presidential advisor, I guess is his main thing. But he definitely was working with the military because that's Al and him have a relationship. So anyway, Wanda asks Terry, were they talking about Al? And he's like, oh, they're talking about the Jason Wynn thing. And he doesn't want to like subject her to the pain of thinking about her dead husband. And anyway, this is the guy that does this sort of short POV, like first person point of view of his idea of the news stories. So obviously, if you read these stories, you're going to get a far more in-depth experience. So she's saying that she never liked the wind guy. He came around a couple times and gave her the creeps. And and she's saying that she's kind of got the feeling that Al is like around more, like, and he wasn't before, and it's kind of spooking her out. Like, it's a little weird. And Terry's kind of like, well, as long as you're thinking of me, baby, it's all right. Anyway, and you. So she's saying, like, it doesn't really matter if Jason Wynn has vanished, and he's like, it matters more than you think, because he's basically going to try to kill Al so that they'll never be together again. So anyway, now they're fighting in the church where Al and Wanda got married in Al's psychoplasm town. So they start to fight. As all fights happen, magic is strewn across the room. Punches will be thrown. It's the whole thing. This is nice. I kind of was wondering, and I don't have any reason to suspect one way or the other, but I was curious if Todd laid out any of these pages or not. If it's all Capullo's layouts, or if Todd laid out the pages. I really don't know. This is nice. We can zoom in. Yeah, it's really, really cool. Good stuff. I felt like Pennington and Greg were a good match. This is cool. So he falls kind of through the church. Oh yeah, this is interesting. Like, it's almost like I think he got knocked down further into the church. Like, maybe there was like a second floor. I mean, again, this is all created from psychoplasm, so it may be kind of more maze-like than literal. But anyway, he goes through this floor, and he's starting to experience like hell-like characters. You've got all these, I don't know, we'll call them violators or something like that, but like some little demons coming up on him, and they're gonna rip his skin off. They want to take his uniform off, and they say that it's bonded with his body, but they're like, well, if it's bonded with his body, we'll just skin him alive. So pretty gnarly. He's got glass and chunks of debris in his head, but Anti-Spawn's not having it. He's gonna finish him off. If anyone's gonna have the death blow, it's gonna be his. So he punches his fists in a powerful thing. Colors are pretty insane on this. And we get this. Flames all the demons. Burns them all up. And we've got Al here. And then he's talking to him. See how the holy burning light of heaven dispels the darkness? Now, you, Hellspawn, I'll make you scream. Just like the ice cream man from that one comic. And he screamed and screamed. Alright, so we've got the military dudes watching it on the monitor, and this guy's pretty funny. He's like, what the hell's going on down there in Simmonsville? That's his nickname for it. And he gets so pissed off, he decides he's going to go down to Simmonsville and see what exactly is up. So this guy is clearly not intimidated or scared of anything, because he's got heaven and hell and Hellspawn and the portal to hell. He doesn't care. He's gonna go in and chastise these guys for ruining his experiment or whatever. Like, it's kind of funny. All right, back to the fight. Pretty cool. Like the shoes coming into the frame. We've got Spawn crashing down. Really, really cool pose. Man, it's a gnarly, kick-ass pose that he's got him in. We got all this. Anti-Spawn. It's funny because I think if you just showed me Anti-Spawn, I would think it was medieval Spawn. Like, just because I hadn't read these in forever, and he's the only other Spawn I can think of that sort of has any kind of armor and stuff like that. But anyway, all right. So Hey, excuse me. What happened here? The next blast will kill me. Got to get out of here. Oh, and Spawn teleports back to the alleys, so he teleports, or whatever you call it, like, yeah, I guess teleportation. All right, and he says that it's actually very painful for him to do. So he actually teleports away from anti-spawn, but anti-spawn immediately follows him. So anyway, Al ends up back in the alley, and you've got all these homeless guys, and again, he's friends with them now. So he shows up, and he basically says, you guys need to split now. Anti-spawn's coming. I don't know when, and when he does, we're all going to be in big trouble. And Greg's art is really starting to get good here. The inks and Greg's pencils are really starting to meld, and just, it really looks good. Pennington always did kind of have like kind of a pretty good McFarlane sort of thing that he could pull off. It's not one for one, but it's real good. All right, so then anyway, anti-spawn shows up literally almost like seconds after spawn. And he blasts him big time. This time Spawn's not coming back from it. He's super messed up. His skin, his costume has been damaged so much that his costume is like a living part of him, and so it's wounded, which means that he's even more wounded. Then anti-spawn's about to, like, you know, kill him or whatever, take him out, and he goes to blast him, and we've got Spawn in very, very, very compromised position. Super cool drawing. Would love to see this in pencil. Oh man, I bet it looks so cool. And oh, speaking of ands, don't forget tomorrow, Super Fun Sunday, Frank Frazetta birthday show. It's gonna be super fun. All right, here we go. Anti-spawn, no spawns allowed. He's got the Psyblade arm magic going on now. Head's filled with light. I can't think straight. I just have to kill you. You can't kill Spawn. Time's up, Hellspawn. Cliffhanger. Bum bum bum. But yeah, you know, for some reason I thought it was only 2 books, and when I read this, I was like, I need to check. Is there a third? Sure enough, there was a third. So we're gonna look at it, right? Meow. We got another dedication. I pulled it up so that we can pay tribute in proper way to the people that Todd is giving shout outs to. All right, let's see here. So the shout out is to Dick Ayers. We can look at it now. So Richard Bach Ayers was an American comic book artist and cartoonist, best known for his work as one of Jack Kirby's inkers during the late 1950s and 60s, the period known as the Silver Age of comics, including some of the earliest issues of Marvel Comics, the Fantastic Four. He has a lot of credits, but anyway, so he had passed away in 2014, so not sure what why Todd chooses particular artists when he does the dedications, but anyway, he did dedicate this issue to him. Sorry, we've got a cover now with a little bit more of a story version of a cover, meaning that it is Spawn, Hellspawn, at his grave pulling out his own skull, so it's a bit more of a story driven cover. It's nice, cool cover. I don't know, like at the time, I'm not 100% sure I was a huge fan of the crops that they were doing on the covers for these. It felt a little like almost like kind of a reprint. Like I definitely prefer full bleed covers than one in a panel. So I definitely remember when these were coming out feeling that I was like, these feel kind of like too conservative. Image Comics is about this. It's like beyond borders. Sounds funny, but it's kind of true, though. You know, this was holding in the awesome. We wanted the awesome to spill out beyond the page. All right, enough of that. All right, so credits on this. We shift back to Art T-Bear and Dan Panosian. This time, Art has top billing. The previous time he did not, so you would assume that means that he might have inked more pages than this, but Who knows? Only Art and Dan will know. Possibly Capullo. It's been a long time, though. Alright, so let's get into this. A couple of the pages in the last issue had a lot of, like, dialogue. This is a little dialogue heavy, but most of the book isn't. So anyway, we get to know one of the homeless guys. His name is Dipper. Dipper went to Vietnam in '69, and he was Private Marty Sladek, and he was in Khe Sanh in '69. So apparently he slipped up, and the one time that he didn't have his buddies back, they all got killed, and now Spawn's exploding in front of him, and he's having flashbacks of being covered in chunks of flying meat that used to be men. So he's an alcoholic, and that's how he's lived his life, trying to forget the past horrors of his life. But anyway, so Spawn and what's-his-face, Anti-Spawn, are, fighting in the alley, and he's like, you gotta watch out for your buddies. That was the rule. So we're not just going to stand here. We're going to kick Anti-Spawn's ass. So all the homeless people rise up now to face off with Anti-Spawn, to step up for their Spawn. So we got this dynamic shot of Anti-Spawn over Spawn. Spawn's looking super beat up. Really, really nice page. Very nice drawing. Poses are great. This turn of the body is really, really nicely done. It's just all really good. This is really cool looking. And you like it too, Kitty. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your feedback. Yeah, you think it's good. All right. Yeah, I know. All right. So he's about to cut him up. I know, Kitty. It's okay. Spawn's going to be all right. I promise you. It's a comic book. They always make it through. All right. Dipper's going to get him. I'm telling you. Dipper's got this. What are you doing? Okay, so he hits him. Oh, now my phone's ringing? Got all kinds of shit going on. I don't know whose number that is. All right, you got to watch out for your buddies. Who? So Dipper's coming up behind Anti-Spawn. He's going to smack him. And I'll burn your eyes out. It's like, is that a nod to Christmas Story? You'll burn your eyes out. I don't think so, pal. This is our turf. This is kind of corny, honestly. It's cute, but it was a little kind of funny to me. It's like the homeless guys are going to go up against Anti-Spawn with bottles and pipes and stuff like that. But anyway, that's can suspend our disbelief for a moment. This is our turf, and we stick together. Yeah, come on, guys. Let's beat him up. You got a beef with the Spawn? You got a beef with all of us. All right. Dude, Anti-Spawn could literally fart on these guys and kill every single one of them. Give me a break. All right, anyway, so back to the fight. Oh, wait, that wasn't the right page. I knew it. All right, so they start surrounding Anti-Spawn because he's in big trouble now. But Spawn steps up. That's enough, bud. These people are under my protection. Oh, Lord. All right. This is the only part of the story that I won't say I disliked it, but it was like a little cornball. But it only lasts for a page or two, and some people may enjoy it. Got that? Boom! He punches him. This is a nice splash. It's good. Nice fists. Cool. All right, and they're still fighting. This was interesting. There's a lot of negative space on this. I mean, it works, but it was like a little trippy. The thumb here gets kind of big too. But yeah, it was like, I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, the only thing you'd have is maybe there's more speed lines or kind of explosive sort of thing going on in front of him, but it works. It's just like a lot of empty page right there. Okay, now we're on this page. All right. Gets flipped over. Got Anti-Spawn jumping up towards him. The face off. I'll show you pain. This is what I feel. And we got rawr. Feels like wires burning lights in my head. Jesus, don't let me pass out. Walk. He punches him. Wunch. This is really good. I love this. I thought this was such a clever drawing. It's a great tight shot of Spawn holding Anti-Spawn by the head, obviously, and he's gonna pop his head like a melon. But what I really liked is I love the shadows under these drops of rain. I thought that was such a nice touch. And it really, really gives just a very cool sense of depth to it. I mean, it's really subtle, but boy, it works great. It's like one of my favorite little things that I saw. But I really do like this drawing a lot. I think it's very, very cool. Right. So he kind of like explodes his head with like power, and then he punches his fist through it. So kind of a 1-2 sort of kind of vibe here. Left punch too. Have a nice day. Bam. That is it. Anti-Spawn is done. He falls to the ground, lighting up. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. Tell me about it. Then he just blows the shit out of him. That's it, Anti-Spawn. You're done for today, buddy. Hellspawn gotcha. Alright, so it's okay, kitty. He's alright too. Alright, I think I got him. I hit him. Scared the crap out of me, but I hit him. You gotta watch out for your buddies, right? He's like, did I do the right thing? He's like, you sure did, Dipper. You did the right thing, buddy. That's positive reinforcement for Dipper. That's nice of Spawn to do that. Geez, what's he doing now? Disappeared. Look at that. Well, I'll be damned. And then the little joke here. I wouldn't recommend it. All right, here we go. So anyway, they're able to pull his like power back up here, or I don't know if he's ever physically sent down there. It's some more of a manifestation. But anyway, they have his body here, and they basically consider it like a test run of testing how powerful Spawn was, and he was beyond what they anticipated. So now they're charging up with more, but this is an extremely painful process for this guy. So he's kind of tortured by these guys. So although they're quote unquote angels, they're kind of doing some messed up stuff. So this is the homeless guy from the first thing. He looks nothing like the original drawings, and the inks on this are very, very weird. I'm not 100% sure who inked these, but it's pretty heavy-handed and kind of almost cartoony, like very cartoony. But it could have been a Deadline thing. But anyway, so this guy is not an angel or a devil, but he's something else. He says there are other powers and agencies owning allegiance to neither side, and there are methods whereby you can undo the bargain you made and retain your powers. So he basically tells Spawn that he would have been fine in the alley when those guys were going to try to beat him up, but you know, Spawn stepped in and saved him. But anyway, but he hands Spawn a business card on the next page, and let's see, it's blank, and he goes, it's blank, and he goes, only for now. When the time comes, we'll be in touch. And then Spawn says, more questions for another day. Right now, there's still something I still need to do or have to do. So he's going to head back, and he's going to finish destroying his psychoplasm gate, we'll call it, or, you know, whatever it is, the manifestation of all of his sort of abstract. I don't even know if they're memories for him, although he did seem to remember, like, these are maybe, I don't know if he considers them bad memories, but he goes and basically destroys almost all of them. I think the one soldier guy shows up. Yeah. Major Vale. So Major Vale shows up, and he's like, you know, you're not going to destroy my Simmonsville. And he's like, you know, whatever. You can read it if you want to read it. They talk about a past thing where this guy was careless with soldiers' lives and people got killed, and he's sick of taking orders from people like him. He's like, now I'm giving you an order. And bam, he shoots him in the head. Again, I think if you had this on Indiegogo and someone complained, they would maybe pull your campaign. I'm not sure, but it's one of those things. There's a lot of double standards in comics. This was done a long time ago, but yeah, it's interesting how things have changed. Anyway, so Spawn kills Major Vale. He's dead. He goes and continues to burn up. He says right here, my life goes up in flames. But he does one really interesting thing. Let me shut this and shut this. He keeps one memory and it's the memory of he and Wanda when he asked her to marry him. And I thought this was very, very cool. It's pretty touching little scene. The memory kind of turns into little shards of energy, and he condenses it down into like this small thing. And it looks like he's gonna go hide it in the alley. He goes, "Guess I should put it somewhere safe." And I was like, "Wow, it's really cool." But I was like, "Man, I'm kind of nervous. He's gonna like hide it in the alley. What if like someone finds it?" But anyway, so then we cut to Wanda and Terry at their house, and this is in Queens, New York. It's raining outside. She's getting ready for bed. She looks beautiful. Her new husband, Terry, who is friends with Todd. Looks like there's an X in this ear. There is. Should have been filled in with black, and black right here, too. You're not going to trick a tricker. You think things get past the rich man? Never. All right, anyway, Wanda, again, gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful woman. And we've got Al in the tree watching them. Wanda, I saved it for you. It's really, really a beautiful moment. So the dream memory kind of starts to go towards them. And it just seems, oh, he's like, "Wanda, come on, baby, come to bed." He's like, "It's just something came into my head. I seem to remember something, and then it was gone. It was," and then Spawn says, "I love you," and he's like crying in the tree. It's really good. "Close the drapes, honey. Come to bed." And then the window goes dark. The world goes dark. But that's okay. I'm used to it. I thought it was really, really good. Really, really good story. So there you go. That's Spawn. 15, 16, or sorry, 16, 17, and 18. Quite the little trilogy of comics. And if you enjoyed this, you can read 19 and 20, which are also Greg Capullo. Todd comes back on at 21. And I know what you were thinking. You thought I was going to say, if you like this, you should smash the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. But I don't do that on my videos. You can do that if you want, but I'm not going to encourage it. In fact, unsubscribe. All right, so tomorrow, Sarah Frazetta, live, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for Frank Frazetta's birthday. It's going to be awesome. I'm actually getting together a bunch of stuff from the new Taschen book right after I finish this video. And it's going to be a blast. Hopefully she can hang for a couple hours. And I'm pretty sure she's doing it from the museum. And again, there might be some surprises. So it'll be a good one. All right, you guys have a great day. I am going to get out my Taschen book and start snapping some photos. All right, later.